men have evolved to be hunters and not women. And it is psychologically taxing to be constantly rejected. Now, of course, women don't really get rejected. So if a woman wants to approach a man, for a relationship, she can. But what's most likely going to happen is when she approaches the man for a relationship, he's basically going to offer sex, and she's going to have to take it, because if she doesn't take it, there will be another girl that gives it. Since pursuing is masculine, the man is less likely to want a relationship with a girl, because any woman who has the balls, as it were, to approach a man is likely masculine enough to be a fighter, a girl who's not submissive and who doesn't get on the guy's program. She's likely to not be cooperative. Hello and welcome to the heliosblog. My name is Helios. Thank you so much for watching. If this is your first time watching, remember to like, comment and subscribe, hitting all for notifications. If you're a regular, thank you so much for your continued support. Remember to watch until the end. You're not going to want to miss this episode. Today, should women approach men? Pros and cons. Some women wonder whether they should pursue men themselves. Womanism has convinced them that they're strong and independent, and that men nowadays are weak and too afraid to approach them. Let's explain if women should pursue men. I'm going to give you a hint. Pursuing, hunting, is masculine. So, women should maybe consider that. Let's get into it. Who is the hunter and who is the pursued? Normally, men are the hunters and women are pursued. This tradition has been going on for as long as men have been around. It's up to men to ask and women to choose or not, and this is for sex. With the inversion of roles, however, some women want to try that hand at pursuing men. Let's see some pros and cons of this. So pro number one, women get to talk to men they want. Obviously, if women pursue men, they get to talk to men they actually want to talk to. They get a little bit more agency over which men they deal with. If they see a man they really want, pursuing him directly may help the woman beat out the competition, because many women want the same man. Of course, it takes a lot of courage, but some women who are liberated by womanism may feel enough courage to approach a man. So, let me elaborate a bit on this. Women have two fundamental things to their nature, but here we're only going to discuss one, which is hypergamy. So a woman wants a superior man. Women want the top 20% of men. They're not interested in the bottom 80%. If you look at the OkCupid study that was related to how women rate males' attractiveness, you'll see what I'm talking about. In any case, as a result of this, women don't want to be approached by 80% of men. They're not interested. And so if women pursue themselves, then they themselves can use their own hypergamous detector to talk to the men that actually trigger it, so that they have a better chance of maximizing their biological outcomes. This is also related to the Pareto principle. So, for sex in humans, and this is for men, 20% of men get 80% of the sexual attention. So, when women pursue themselves, they give themselves a better shot of getting one of these top 20% men who are wanted by basically all women. So, if a woman wants to have a relationship with a man, then it's not such a bad idea to approach a man. The only issue is the following. The issue is that men have evolved to be hunters and not women. And it is psychologically taxing to be constantly rejected. Now, of course, women don't really get rejected. So if a woman wants to approach a man, for a relationship, she can. But what's most likely going to happen is when she approaches the man for a relationship, he's basically going to offer sex, and she's going to have to take it, because if she doesn't take it, there will be another girl that gives it. But the problem is this: if the man is far above this woman in terms of attractiveness, he might put her in the sex zone. So if he puts her in the sex zone, which is similar to the friend zone, it's just reversed, the genders are reversed, the girl has no chance of being upgraded past the sex zone. So this woman could have pursued the man and gotten him, but never have a chance to be upgraded. And so she has wasted her potential of being in a long-term relationship with a man of value on this guy. And this is why it's not such a good idea for a woman to pursue. Because if a woman pursues, she doesn't know if the man is going to want to be in a relationship with her or not. Also, since pursuing is masculine, the man is less likely to want a relationship with the girl, because any woman who is willing to put in the effort, not put in the effort, any woman who has the balls, as it were, to approach a man is likely masculine enough to be a fighter, a girl who's not submissive and who doesn't get on the guy's program. She's likely to not be cooperative. And so, as I said, there are pros and cons, but it's more con than pro in this case. Okay, but here, let me list another pro, and that's other women don't approach men. So, as I said, if a woman approaches a man for sex or for a relationship, women are afraid to approach because they're intimidated by rejection. So any woman who's not afraid to approach has an automatic leg up. She may get a chance with a man that she normally would not have had a chance with, because the man had not thought to approach her. And she gets to seize the opportunity. But it's a problem, as I said, because any woman that has the testosterone or the risk-taking ability to approach a man also likely is going to be masculine and is going to break any relationship that she would be in. And that's the difficulty of what I'm discussing here. Okay. Now, let me get to the obvious, which is there are cons to approaching. So, con number one, approaching is masculine, as I stated. As you've heard in my previous articles, men don't like masculine women. A man might immediately be put off by a woman approaching. He may think she's below his league and that she's unworthy for a relationship, but he'll sleep with her. And this is a major risk for women, as I said, as they generally don't want to be put in the sex zone. So, okay, let me just compare the friend zone and the sex zone for a second so you can understand the analogy here. So, many men are aware of the friend zone, but they probably have no idea about the sex zone. And the same applies to women. Many women have heard of the friend zone, but they might not have heard of the sex zone. So the friend zone is when the woman is getting everything she wants, but is not giving what the man wants. So when a man is in the friend zone, what happens is he is giving a woman all of the things that she wants in a relationship. So he's giving her his full attention, he's buying things for her, he's taking her out, he's driving her around, he's being nice to her, he's texting her all the time, but he is not getting what he wants, which is sex. That's the friend zone. The sex zone is the same, but in reverse. So in the sex zone scenario, the woman is giving everything the man wants, which is sex, but she's not getting what she wants, which is a relationship. So when a woman is in the sex zone, she doesn't get driven around, she doesn't get taken to nice dinners, she doesn't get gifts bought for her, she doesn't get any of that. And so, a woman in the sex zone is equivalent to a man in the friend zone. And a man might put a woman in the sex zone if he likes sleeping with her, but he doesn't believe that she's relationship material. He believes she's either too masculine, she's too controlling, she is not on his program, she wants things her way and not his way, she's too demanding, or too she seems like she would be too high maintenance. These things make men consider never upgrading the girl past a friends with benefits. Okay, here is another con of women approaching men. Women don't take rejection well. Since women are not natural hunters, it's harder for them to accept rejection, and they haven't been hardened like men who've approached many women. They're not hardened to the sting of rejection. As a result, women will feel much more pain after being rejected from an approach. And luckily for women, most men are polite and will let a girl down easy even if he's not interested in her. This is something that some women even fail to do. So again, there are pros and cons to women pursuing men, but here is why women even consider approaching men at all. And it's because of womanism. So womanism has encouraged women to have more agency. It's encouraged women that they can have it all, that they can do whatever they want. And so, more and more women are being taught to be like men, to go after the things that men want, and to do the things that men do. And so, many women are becoming the very men that they're attracted to. So, not only do we see this in their choice of career or their life progression, but we also see this in how they approach relationships and sex. So, women nowadays, they're doing what men should be doing. So, they're getting their higher education, getting a STEM degree, becoming a boss, becoming strong and independent, things of that nature. And they're also treating sex like men do. Women nowadays are acting as though they can separate sex from their emotions, and that they can have casual sex to no consequence. And because of a woman's release of oxytocin, women are not able to do that. A woman can't just have sex with no consequence. Because whenever she has sex, her body releases a lot of the pair bonding hormone to try and bond her to the guy that she slept with. And you can imagine that if she's having casual sex, if a woman's having casual sex with many men, her body's burning out its ability to pair bond, and so she can't then connect to any new man. And this is obviously a huge problem for women, because if a woman can't connect to a man, then she can't raise children with him. She'll break any relationship they're in. And this is another big risk of women approaching, because in order for a woman to become so good at approaching that she no longer fears rejection, she has to sleep with enough men that her pair bonding is likely broken. So it's just not a good idea for women to live life as men do. And approaching is no different. They shouldn't be doing it. A lot of men, weak men, they complain that they have the burden of performance, that they have to go and approach women. But the alternative is actually worse. And it's actually worse for society too, because what happens is that women will only approach the top 20% of men, so they encourage the Pareto principle even further. They encourage the top 20% of men, the rich men as it were, to get richer, and the poor men to get poorer. And what'll happen as a result is actually what we're seeing in our modern society, which is that men are giving up. So the bottom 80% of men are just quitting because they see that they're not competitive and nothing they do is working. They're just quitting. And women approaching would actually make this worse. And here's another aside. The dating app Bumble is kind of women pursuing men. So men and women can match, but then women have to make the first move. And any experienced user of Bumble will tell you that Women are notorious that even when they match with you on Bumble, they still won't message. They still won't approach. And that's because women are not the pursuers. So it's funny that such an app exists, right, that encourages women to approach, because it encourages them to go against their nature. And any woman who's comfortable enough to do it is actually too masculine to be in a relationship, in a long-term relationship, funnily enough. So, just so you know, Bumble girls are not good girls. I mean, neither are Tinder girls, to be honest, but that's just how it is. So, there you have it. Okay, let's go to our conclusion. There are pros and cons to women approaching men. In general, I would not recommend it, as approaching is a masculine trait. Obviously, women should lean more heavily on their feminine and not on their masculine. So, here's what I mean when I'm saying that women should lean more on their feminine. I mean that women should develop the following traits: fitness, submission, sexual loyalty, and cooperation. And let me also explain a bit more about what femininity should be for women. So they should know how to cook, they should know how to clean, they should know how to dress, they should wear dresses over yoga pants or jeans, they should wear makeup, they should wear their hair long and not dye it, this sort of thing. And they should care about their grooming and about their feminine body language. So that is no power poses like what men do. That's femininity. If a woman wants a man of value, then she should work on these things. Because here's the problem. If a woman doesn't work on those things, then she'll get outcompeted by women that do. So what'll happen is some girl from a different country is going to come in and steal that top 20% man that you wanted, because she's doing the things that his genes, that his biology responds to, whereas you're not. You're doing what your biology responds to. And of course, if you're doing what your biology responds to and not what his biology responds to, you're doing it wrong. The man needs certain things that you need to do, and pursuing him is not one of them. You need to make yourself maximally feminine and have him approach you. You'll be glad you did. Thank you. Thank you so much for watching my channel. Please remember to do all of the following. Like the video for the algorithm. Comment on the video. I respond to all comments and I'll give you a heart. Subscribe and hit the bell so you can see my content on your feed. Check out all of my content on other platforms. It spreads the reach of the channel. YouTube, bit.ly/heliosyoutube. Rumble, bit.ly/heliosrumble. My blog is realheliosblog.com. My podcast, bit.ly/heliospodcast. My Patreon, patreon.com/theheliosblog. You can also support the show at bit.ly/heliosdonations and buy my books at bit.ly/heliosbooks. Thank you so much for all of your support.